Let's jump to this story from the New York Times. Trump shuts down 3 watchdog agencies overseeing immigration crackdown. I love this headline.
Wow.
The move comes as the Trump administration ramps up its deportation campaign. So, in some cases, removing people with little to no due process. Notice they say little to no.
I love it.
It's because they did get due process. And they just don't like it personally. I just want to stress, little to no is an opinion statement, New York Times. Thanks for making an op-ed. These people are incorrigible. They're going to say that the cuts affect the civil rights branch of the DHS and 2 ombudsman offices, one overseeing immigration detention and another responsible for scrutinizing the administration's legal immigration policies. According to 5 current and former government officials, more than 100 people at the civil rights office alone are losing their jobs. Is anyone here sad about this?
No.
Maybe, Phil, maybe that will help with the deportations.
I mean, look.
Clearly I think they're trying. Right? Because to your point, I agree with you. There have not been enough deportations. And when you look at, the daily average, when you calculate that out, it's not hardly making a dent in it.
Yep.
However, if you look at the amount of people who are now trying to come here, have you seen the chart? It's
almost none.
It's ridiculous. It just crashes all the way down to almost nothing. It's like 90%, I think, that they're down at the border.
Yeah.
So that part, at least.
Hey.
We've covered.
That's
right?
great.
It turns out all you have to do is tell people, don't freaking come. Right? Don't come. We don't want you here. You're not going to have a gravy train when you get here. You're not going to get free shit. Please don't come. We will arrest you and send you back.
Do not come.
Just that.
Mala said that once. It didn't seem to do anything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's
They were letting them in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you just.
Well, so a question, guys. This is the Civil Rights Office, right? These are the people that are supposed to make sure that if we are detaining and deporting migrants, they're not being beaten and loaded on trains and smashed and crammed in solitary. Isn't this a bad thing? I mean, we want to deport them, but we can at least have people to make sure that people aren't being mistreated.
Well, I don't know because you saw this Venezuelan Trinidad Arruga almost took over that plane Con Air style. Did you hear about that?
What?
Yeah, you didn't hear? Oh my gosh, they had 200 Trinidad Arruga gang members on the plane.
I love how you say that.
In the
And
middle,
they Con Aired it?
they almost Con Aired it. You didn't read the news. Like I come on here and Tim doesn't even know what the.
Are you sure that was true, though?
That's 100% true because I clarified.
Where was
it.
Nicolas Cage?
We needed to be there, but Google it. Trinidad Arruga almost takes over plane. Matt Gaetz, I believe, said it on
Arruga?
OAN.
They need to
So, and we know OAN.
There's no stories here.
open
Because
the cargo bay doors.
The mainstream
and
media is hiding it, but I'm telling you, they almost Con Aired a jet. I heard that.
Look
from-
up Con Air to Jet. Maybe that will show
there
up.
you go.
I mean, how many civil rights do illegal aliens get?
If they came here in a pickup truck, in the back of a pickup truck, we send them out in the back of a pickup
Also,
truck.
is
I don't know
100
why do they
is
get-
100 lawyers in the Civil Rights Department the entirety of that department, or are there some still left on staff?
Sure, right. Well, and also
That's a fair question.
There's a Scottish groundskeeper who's complaining, and I'm kidding.
I mean, it's so interesting because these probably are the same people who yelled at President Trump the first time he was in office about keeping kids in cages and all of these things.
Of course they are, yeah.
But when you look at what he was actually doing, of course, he's preventing trafficking from happening. So I just don't know that I trust their judgment on this.
We are beyond the point of caring what the left says. We have stopped caring.
I figured it out.
Yeah.
Okay? Trump needs to send all the Tren de Aragua to Ukraine's front line.
Perfect.
And no liberal or Democrat is going to say one word.
See, that is a solution to a problem. We send their gangbangers to go fight on the front lines. Like, everybody wins. But see, the cartel wouldn't be stupid enough to do it.
The Democrats are like, we're kind of mad about this, but we'll take it.
Yeah, I think that's actually a solution to the. They're willing to fight. They're willing to die for their own country, and they would probably do it like for the money. And
No. The point is the Tren de Aragua guys are just dropped in the front line, and it's like, good luck.
Right.
Yeah,
And they're not. They're just.
Well, we'd have to give them a gun or something, right,
No.
to make it fair. You got to give them some weapons to go after Russia with. We got to
want them to.
Are you going to trust them?
They get them once they get to the front.
We gave Al Qaeda. I mean, we created the Mujahideen. We gave Osama bin Laden weapons, so I don't know why we wouldn't arm the cartel fighting.
We should
in
take
Ukraine.
every single person in the Venezuelan. The Salvadoran prisons. Send them to Ukraine.
But what we'll end up finding out is 20 years from now, the CIA will actually do this, and we'll just find it out when files are declassified.
Yeah.
Or actually, right now, there's CIA and NSA guys watching the show eating popcorn, and they'll be like, "That's a great idea." They're like, "We've been doing that." Where do you think these people come from?
The movie will be out in 5 years. Are you kidding me?
I do have a question. So I have this.
Slava Aragua.
I can't. Ben Affleck will direct it. Absolutely.
This business idea I have that I want to create a human catapult on the border, and I want to see how much Americans would pay to press the button to just catapult someone across to the other side.
Do they get
I
a
feel like that's a big
do
money.
they get a bouncy house on the
No,
other
you can
side
have,
to
like,
land
one-
on?
Yeah. You
One of
can have
those
a soft
balls,
landing.
one of those ball things that.
I got a question. I got a question. Okay, we were talking about birthright citizenship.
Yes.
My question is, there is a story right now about a 10-year-old girl who got brain cancer, but she's a U.S. citizen, but her parents are illegal. They came here, had 5 kids. Those kids are citizens. Now the daughter, who's 10, is getting consistent treatment for brain swelling after brain surgery, but they've been deported. And the left is saying, oh, it's so evil. This American citizen was deported. Tom Homan said in the past, they can be deported with their parents. Or we can keep them, like, you want them to stay here as wards of the state? Right? I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, we'll send them back with your parents. So the parents came here illegally. The kids can go back with them. The kids can go back when they're old enough or whatever. Do you think, as Trump is revoking the status of legal migrants, do you think, because I think this has been actually floated, kids who come and are like this 10-year-old girl would have her U.S. citizenship revoked because they will challenge their parents were not citizens. They came here to exploit the system, so they'll remove citizenship. Do you think they should do that?
I don't.
Yes, I do.
I don't know if you should revoke it for the ones who came here when it was law, but implement it so that anything following would go under new policy. Right. So if you come here now and the same thing happens, then they are not a U.S. citizen. But if they were already here and that was the law at the time, it's like when they talk about marijuana offenses. When they talk about weed offenses, they're like, all of these people are in jail. The policies have changed. It's like, yes, that is true. But the policy wasn't changed at the time.
I think we should let out those people, though.
I'm just saying that's an argument that a lot of people make. They say, look, yes, it's stupid that we put him in jail for all that. And I do agree with that. But to a lot of people who are more strict or rigid about how you interpret the law, they say it was the law when they did it. It implements further crime in problems. So you have to act on the law as it was at the time, not how it's changed since then.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with them staying as a ward of the state. I mean, if
children?
yeah, if they're citizens, if they were born here, they're citizens. The kids getting treatment. I have no problem with them staying as a ward of the state. Send the parents back, and then when the kid's 18 or whatever, like then the kid can go and do what they want. But
So Tim, are you saying that the child doesn't have that option, or the parents are just taking the child back?
No, they deported the whole family.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the American citizen child did not have the option to stay as a ward of the state.
I don't know if the child had an option, but it was deported with the parents.
Okay.
So we have this map of all the places in the world that have this is from the Library of Congress, countries with unconditional birthright citizenship.
Jeez.
And you can see the New World, we call it, which is the Americas, almost entirely birthright citizenship. But look at Europe. Europe is age and residency of the child with parental status, combination of parental status and age and residency of the child. Like Europe, you don't get citizenship just by being born there.
It's like when
And in the Eastern world, China, Japan, Korea, no, you do not get birthright. You know citizenship with birth.
It's like when people talk about abortion in the U.S. and not realizing just how strict abortion laws are all over the world.
Yep.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, so I ask about this because I do believe Trump is going to make that move.
You think he's going to get rid of it entirely?
He's already signed an executive order ending it, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it'll get challenged.
Yes, that's
that's what he wants.
Yeah.
He wants to go to the Supreme Court so they can issue an answer on this. I think that there is a strong probability that Trump challenges existing citizenship of kids of illegal immigrant parents.
Yeah.
He's already actually made the argument that even if the parents are legally here, you shouldn't get it because with no birthright citizenship, he's basically already challenged the children of legal residents.
What do you think? Do you think that's the right move?
I don't know, man.
That's a very hard question to put in people because it puts a moral conundrum right at the front of the question.
And I don't know how to do my laundry at all. So I mean, I'm not even kidding. I don't know how to clean.
It's a technical issue for me.
Yeah, for me.
So the issue is it's not yes or no. It is if there's a 30-year-old guy whose parents are illegal and he's from Idaho or whatever, and he's like, yeah, my parents came here illegally. I was born in Idaho. I've lived here my whole life. Okay, we're not going to deport that person. That makes no sense. But if there's a kid who's like at a certain age, like 3, we might be like, we're going to annul the claim of birthright citizenship. We're going to avoid that, and we're going to deport your family. The question is, do we reward people for committing crimes against us?
Right.
And so there's a statute of limitations, I suppose. But like I said, a 30-year-old guy whose parents are like elderly, sure, I guess deport them.
But
But if you've got a family that comes here, I would say this simply: if people come here and they have a kid, and it's been like a month or two, they're all deported. There's no citizenship. If the kid is a certain age, after a certain age, maybe the cutoff is 18. Maybe if it's like, as of right now, anyone who is 18 or older is past that point, but anyone younger, you're getting or maybe not. Maybe 18 is too late. Actually, the issue is, can you legally survive on your own if your parents are not here?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we got nothing for you. And the idea that we're going to deport a 10-year-old U.S. citizen because the parents are illegal and exploited our laws and broke the law to come here and take advantage of us, that kid's just going to come back and then file sponsorship for the parents, and then we'll have chain migration.
Yeah, I just think that it's important to set the precedent for people to do things the right way. So, I mean, I would be in favor of the parents making the decision. If you would like for your child to remain here and keep getting treatment under custody of the state, then you're more than welcome to do that. But I just think that we fall into this trap where we feel like it's our problem to solve for these children when it's really their parents that put them in this position in the first place, right? Like, if you want to place blame on the parents. Don't place blame on this country who now has to figure out how to navigate it, because this is entirely the fault of the parents.
And this is the moral quandary that a lot of Americans find themselves in when you get posed this question, right? It's like, the question is put upon us as American citizens. How do you feel about this? And then your morality is called into question when you want to implement some type of strict policy, when you understand that strict policy isn't really supposed to be about emotion. It's supposed to be about actually being prescient for the citizens. It's difficult.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I feel bad for these people.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure there are some really difficult situations, but who do you blame? The people who brought these kids here in the first place, or the people who came here illegally and then decided to make whatever decisions they made once they got here? I mean, and then that's what I think that people lose sight of.
Well, this is one thing, though, on a serious note. You know, when your parents die and they might have debt, they're going to call you and they're going to be like, your parents owe debt. And they're going to try to con you and say you're responsible for your parents' debt, but you're not. You're not. It doesn't even matter whether you have a good relationship with your parents or a bad relationship with your parents. So I do think that there is a difference between a parent and a son, and a parent doesn't, like, the parent does choose where the kid is born, but the kid doesn't choose.
Where are you from, Alex?
Dallas, Texas. Born and raised.
Prove it.
Yeah, I got a birth certificate.
Where? On you?
I got it in an email.
Maybe I gotta make a phone call to ICE right now.
Listen, I'm not getting deported. I'm a pimp on a blimp. I'm just saying, this is not as cut and dry as we like to make it. But I mean,
Well, I think the point is we're not making it cut and dry, and the fact that it isn't is why this ends up being an issue.
I'm done. Deport everybody. Nobody stays. Nobody.
No
Italians
Americans.
first. No Americans. None. It's just going to be gophers or whatever. Just
Chickens.
Yeah, chickens.
If you're a 9,
Everybody
you're
out.
fine. Like,
Everybody out. Nobody can have America now. Nobody gets it.
You would deport.
Go back.
You would deport Salma Hayek.
Everybody's got to go back to the country of their ancestral origin.
J-Lo. Even J-Lo.
Because
Calabasas,
Jenny from the
California.
block?
if we contend that this is the greatest country in the entire world, we have to protect that.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.